look team, but they've come out a 4-2 record so far, and they're going to look to keep the momentum going in their home tournament.
Yeah, and one thing I look at with Dartmouth is that they've played tough, whoever they've played, whether it's been a team that you would expect that they would have success against or a team that you would expect that would give them some challenges. Case in point, UConn in their last match on Sunday. Huskies, one of the few unbeaten teams still left in Division One. Dartmouth able to take a set off of UConn in their building. So we know this is going to be a scrappy team, and they have two big pieces, I think, coming back working in their favor. Fifth-year senior Karen Murphy really does a great job controlling the offense, and the junior Kawani Goots continues to blossom into, I think, one of the strongest left side hitters in the Ivy League.
And obviously not in conference play yet, but Kawani Goots does lead the Ivy so far in kills per set, just over 4 a set, including that, we talked about it off air, but that 30-point outburst earlier this season, which was the second ever in program history in a single game. So a lot to like so far for Dartmouth, and obviously kind of a new look lead arena. We've got the video board. We've got, I think you called it a hollow up at center court.
Halo, so. Digital ring, whatever you want to call it. So new LED features on the side tables as well. So a lot of sprucing up. I'll be honest, though. Looking at the opposite end zone from where we're situated here in Lead Arena, it does feel a little empty because that's where the scoreboard used to be, directly to the right of the basketball hoop. Now the big video board, because it takes up so much space, It's a little bit angled behind where the team benches are, behind the Providence bench. So it's great to see. It's a wonderful addition to this building, and I'm sure the players were thrilled, obviously, to be a part of that intro video and to see it for the first time in their new building.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I'm sure excited as well. First home game of the season. It's a Friday night. Some fans still trickling in to Lead Arena for today's contest. Providence will have the first serve. It will be Miller McDonald, the sophomore out of Dallas, Texas. Led the team in assists last season. She's been a key setter for them this year, averaging 4.75 assists per set. Her first serve is going to be received by Piper Stevens for the setup, tapped over the wall, kept alive here for Providence. Follow-up attack off the block, and the first kill picked up by Macy Taylor, the sophomore.
Good high swing there by Taylor. Just a little bit of space between the hands of Emma Simon up front. Taylor finds the gap and goes straight through it.
Taylor had a high this season as 9 kills against Evansville. Also had 9 kills against Brown in a win against a fellow Ivy League team. Here's the setup by Murphy for the attack by Stevens, and that one finds center court. Piper Stevens, a returner, a senior, has had a good start to the season, a career-best 16 kills in their 5-set victory against UAlbany.
Yeah, you know she's going to give you great defense. Just looking for her to be improved from a year ago offensively.
As that one finds the court for Lyric Berry, who picks up her first kill.
Yeah, one thing you can expect to see out of Providence is they move the middles around a lot, whether it's Berry or Kayla Grant. They'll hit the ones, they'll hit the back ones, they'll hit the slides, the shoots. You're going to see them all different areas, and so it's going to be tough for the Dartmouth blockers to follow them all over the floor.
Goots this time with the receive as that attack finds air off the hand of Emma Simon. So, we talked a little bit earlier. Rayleigh Smith had been one of their key middle blockers. They have a couple different middle blockers they've been rotating in, and it's Emma Simon who gets the nod to start the game.
Yeah, I suspect we'll see Smith come in on the rotation when Simon goes to the back row, but no Kensington to Crony not dressed tonight for Dartmouth.
As that one by Piper Stevens. I don't know if that one will go down as a block or if the net caught it, but a point regardless for Providence, who'd have a 4-1 cushion early.
Yeah, I think a little bit of a low swing that time from Stevens. Just caught the net. Couldn't bend it to get it over.
So Macy Taylor to serve now. Goots the receive, set up by Murphy. Back to Goots for a backline attack that, once again, has a little bit too much on it as Gigi Likens olayed out of the way of that one.
Yeah, good job by Friars getting their blocking hands out of the way. I like that decision, though, by Murphy. Going back row to Goots. Front row options had been missing, so change it up, and Goots is your go-to player right now if you're Dartmouth.
Once again, Goots the receive. Murphy will set this time for Simon, but a terrific dig that time by Likens to keep it alive. Backline attack, Ingstrom's there. Now a quick setup across for the attack and the kill picked up that time by Ava Roberts. The junior who was key last year in the rotation again this year, and she'll pick up the kill.
Good job using the free ball, taking advantage. Nice high set out to Roberts.
So some momentum back for Dartmouth after an early run by Providence. And here's the setup for the attack, and that one off the block of Kawani Goots, who picks up the projection.
That's one area of the game you like to see Goots continue to improve on. Over the last few years, you've seen her really become a very efficient hitter, can really handle whether things are in system or out of system. But if she can become a weapon in the blocking game as well, she's really going to turn into, an all-around dangerous player.
Served by Piper Stevens, had a little bit too much on it, as back into the game will be Kayla Grant to control the middle. One of the top hit percentages, number 7 in the country in hit percentage so far this season, just shy of 50%. We'll see how they look to use her offensively. Kawani Goots the attack, and it's blocked. It was Shea Dupree that time who picks up the block.
Outstanding job by Dupuis, just reading that set, timing it up perfectly in terms of getting on top of the ball, good penetration as well.
And Likens 11 service aces so far on the season, as that one goes over and is put back down for the kill that time by Shalia Roden.
Close call there for Roden. That ball just barely got to the net plane, and it almost looked like Roden was going to be drawn in there.
And it was a very close. Karen Murphy was trying to jump up to get that one, but Roden was there to take it away. Another dangerous ball, and this time it's going to be put down by Kayla Grant. And this is not the start Dartmouth would have wanted at home. It's now a 9-3 Providence lead after 2 straight serves get returned over the net.
Yeah, a couple tough float serves from Likens. Some of it you may chalk up to sort of opening night jitters when you open the home building for the first time. Sometimes you can be a little amped up.
Getting her hands on that one was Grant off the Roberts attack. Follow-up is going to be dug out that time by Taylor. Here's the attack right down the line, and it will be a kill that time for Roden. And you talk about Roden, averages just shot. Fun about watching Kawani Goots over the last 2 years is the energy she brings. Every time she picks up a kill or a block, you just feel the momentum shifting in the way of the big green, and they need it right now, as here's a service ace for Emma Engstrom. That's her 7th of the season.
Yeah, and that's going to be part of the path back here for Dartmouth. Whenever you get down by a 5-6 point margin, you're going to have to be able to try to string a couple runs together, and that all starts with the serve.
I mean, Emma Engstrom has just been such a key piece for them this season. Now leads the team in service aces outright, also leads the team in digs per set at that libero position. Here's the setup for the attack. It's going to be blocked back, but kept alive by Likens. Now Roden will give it a go, and that one's off the block and through for a kill. So I think that's 3 quick kills so far for Shalia Roden, who's making her mark known early.
Again, good elevation that time, and again, just a little bit of separation on the arms in the Dartmouth block. If there's a little bit of space there, good hitters are going to attack that.
And Dupree now a chance to serve for the Friars. This one's going to be sent up by Murphy for the quick attack down the middle. It's blocked. Good job by Murphy. So Engstrom will set across for Roberts. Tough angle, and she is unable to keep that one within the lines.
Yeah, I was hoping for the high hands. Blockers got him out of the way. Tough decision that time by Engstrom. You see the head coach, Kevin Marine Campbell, going over talking to her. Right now, Miller McDonald, the setter for Providence, in the front row. So ideally, you're looking to attack her when she's in that front row. So I think coach wanted to see Engstrom go to the opposite side there.
And what a terrific dig that time by Likens. She's been stellar on the back line. Goots will keep this one alive. It's going to be a setter dump, but Likens is backing it up. Follow-up attack, and hey, once again, one of the top hit percentages, it's Kayla Grant. 1 strike, 1 kill so far for Grant.
2 for 2, actually. Took care of that overpass earlier.
Oh, exactly right. So, you look at Grant, and what's incredible is she's now up to 69 kills on the season, still only 5 attack errors. It's just such a low number given the volume we've seen from her this season. That one a little bit too much on it. Great communication by Piper Stevens and Kawani Goots.
So now the setter switch here for Dartmouth. Be interesting to see as Murphy comes out. Again, does such an effective job running the offense. Tasman Mullins, the other setter of the tandem, has had an opportunity to, be around, be at practices. Missed most of last year with an injury, though. Missed all of 2021 with an injury, so just hasn't had a ton of court time in her career, but she is an experienced player, so just be interesting to see how she works with this group.
As that one's just a little bit wide, and the point will go to Dartmouth. But yeah, to your point, Mullins has been a key part of the team so far this season. Had a career high 25 assists in their win against Northeastern, and also had a career high with 16 digs against Lindenwood. So a lot to like so far for Mullins in her first full season. Here's the setup by McDonald, back for the attack, and hey, once again, perfect on the day is Kayla Grant.
And again, another instance of the middle being mobile for Providence, right? We saw Barry take a slide set earlier. Now we see one for Grant here, and obviously able to really elevate with that 6'2" wingspan. Able to really get up, and not much of a contest with the block there.
And she led the team in hit percentage last year, has really shown out in that category this year. As Mullins will set, LaFada's first attack is just wide. So a point to Providence as they take the early advantage here, 15-7. As we head to our first media timeout, Providence in front looking to take set number 1 here in Dartmouth.
Off that 3-match winning streak at home last weekend, and as the old saying goes, Brandon, sometimes the box score tells the story of the game, sometimes it doesn't. Right now, it does. Friars hitting over 400. Dartmouth right now in the negatives through the first part of this first set. They got to turn that around if they're going to pull out of this deficit.
Yeah, and you look at Providence, wins against Brown and Columbia on their non-conference schedule already. Could make it a clean sweep of Ivy competition, but Kawani Goots, perfect location on the attack as she picks up another kill and gets a point for Dartmouth out of the timeout.
That's the nice thing. The media break sort of gives the Big Green maybe a chance to get those early set jitters again, opening the home floor for the first time. Try to get those out of the way. Try to go back to what has made them successful here early in the year.
Here's a setup, and once again, Kayla Grant is perfect.
4 for 4 now for Grant, and that's just an excellent set by Miller McDonald. Terrific back set all the way out to the pin. And got to follow her all the way. If the set's going to push her all the way out there, as the block, you got to get all the way out there as well.
Yeah, McDonald, 10 or more assists in every game this season, including 5 games with 20 or more, as LaFada skies that one. And once again, we talked a little bit about it. Dartmouth still in that negative hitting percentage so far, having some trouble locating their attacks.
Right idea by LaFada there. Just, the execution, got to find a way to pick it up. That time she just gets behind the ball, got to get on top of it.
And LaFada, one of the few first years last year that was really a key part of the team, and she's really stepped up in her sophomore season. As here's an attack that finds the soft spot behind the block, picked up that time by Macy Taylor.
Really good roll shot. I think this is actually a broken play, in all honesty, for Providence. It was a nice job by Stevens putting the free ball short, and I think that was supposed to be an intended shoot set for Berry, and didn't recognize it, and Taylor kind of bailed her out, but made it work.
Here's the set by Mullins across for Stevens, and that kill picked up by Piper Stevens. So a point back for Dartmouth, but still a lot of work to be done here. 18-9 the advantage for Providence.
And again, sometimes you don't want to complicate things, right? This is just a veteran play by Stevens. You see Grant serving. She's playing defense in the back row. Go at her. Attack her. She only plays defense in that one rotation, so.
So this is their time to take advantage of it, perhaps, as Mullins sets this one back. LaFada gives it a go. That skimmed off the top of the net, but Lyken's able to dig it out no problem. Follow-up is wide, and the point for Dartmouth.
Better close on the block that time from Emma Simon. Forced Taylor into that hard angle swing. Didn't get enough top spin on it.
And for Simon, a very good game earlier this year against your Albany. 5 kills, 4 blocks. So has that potential in the lineup today. As once again, who else? It's Kayla Grant with the attack.
That's Barry.
Oh, that was Barry. I apologize. Lyric Barry with the kill that time. That's her second.
You look at that slide ball. Both middles running it effectively, and sometimes tough to distinguish the 11 versus the 17 on the gray jersey. But, Dartmouth is going to really take a look at those middle slides, and they're going to have to try to make an adjustment.
That one a little bit too far, so a serve error and a point back to Dartmouth. But you look at the way they use Barry and you look at the way that they use Grant, it kind of almost reminds me of the way Dartmouth has played in the past with Amelia Gibbs and Ogunlari in front, where they like to get them side to side, jumping on the move to attack.
No, both players very mobile, and that's the challenge for the defense, right? Is you have to be able to mark them and follow them.
As a good dig that time by Murphy, so Ingstrom will set this one up. Roberts will do it, but off her back foot, and a one-handed dig. Nope, not able to save that one in. So Ava Roberts off balance, able to pick up the kill that time for the Big Green.
Yeah, good call by Roberts, taking that ball right away. And for Addie Fry, the sophomore from Indiana, going to see that one back and realize she had a little bit more time, I think, to be able to step in front of it. Didn't have to go with the one-hand dig attempt there.
And wow, that serve ducked at the last second, kept alive, played over by Likens. That's a free ball for Dartmouth as Stevens unable to do it. That time the one-handed dig was there for Fry. Follow-up is
in the net.
I believe that was just net. So
Yep.
a point for Dartmouth here. And Dartmouth kind of coming back a little bit. It was 18-9, but now 19-13. Big Green making a little bit of a run.
Yeah, a little bit of a counter run. Going to call a timeout on the Providence side from Margot Royer-Johnson. A couple times now they forced Taylor into that hard angle shot. And both times she's either missed it out wide or that time put it in the net. So starting to see the adjustment from Dartmouth. Talked about the serve as well. You know, when you have to sort of make up these early gaps, that's how you got to do it. So a couple good serves by the Big Green, forcing Providence into some tough offensive out-of-system chances.
No, absolutely, and that's one of the key parts of those serves, right? Is it's not necessarily, it won't go down as a service ace, but when you can pull your opponent out of system, you get a free ball back. Sometimes that's just as good as picking up that service ace. And so, going into this timeout, maybe a chance to talk about Royer-Johnson and the job she's done at Providence. 5th head coach in program history, 10th year for the team in the Big East, and it's always fun going back and seeing the path coaches take to their respective roles, but not many can say they actually worked for NASA like Royer-Johnson did, where she oversaw their fitness lab.
Right? Yeah, it's certainly a very interesting path, and obviously, the game has changed significantly just in the time that she has taken over this Providence program. And I mean, how many iterations of the Big East have we seen just between 2000 and 2024? She's played in the Big East that whole time, but the conference has had, I don't know, maybe going on 30, 35 different members at this point. So, it's always going to be tough. And then you look at the preseason poll, Providence picked to finish at the bottom of the barrel in the Big East this year. Well, if this 5-3 start is any indication, I would say they're probably going to be outpacing those predictions.
Absolutely, and whenever you see those, sometimes that's just bulletin board material to help motivate the team. And look, we've seen a lot for this Providence team, and we mentioned pregame too. They are a little short-handed today, so still up in set one despite not having their full roster. Here's the setup for the attack, and Barry once again will pick up the kill. Lyric Barry, another one. And it seems like right now the strategy for Providence is to keep going to their middle blockers.
Well, you go to it until it becomes not effective anymore. And right now, every time Providence is setting that middle slide, it's working. Whether it's Barry or Grant, they put it away every time. I think Dartmouth will be a little bit happy there at least was a block touch there.
As that one off the block, Stevens plays it herself. She'll go again, but Likens backing up to play that time. Setter dump, and it's not in. A diving play by Murphy to keep it alive. And it results in a point for the Big Green.
Broken play. Barry wanted that slide again. McDonald's wanted a back two ball. Miscommunication there between hitter and setter. I think both benches were unhappy. Drives right through that alleyway. Terrific power on that shot. A little too much for Taylor to be able to handle it.
And Kawani Goots, the first recipient of the Ivy Player of the Week award for her start to the season, including that 30-kill performance. A bit of an awkward set here for McDonald. Had to run way out for that one. It doesn't matter as the kill's picked up by Roden.
Nice adjustment there by Roden on the fly. Set in from the pin that time. Remember, first two times they set her there, she had that hard driving shot out of bounds. This time, rolls it instead off the hand of the block and in.
And Providence in control here, 3 points away from potentially taking set one. Murphy the set, back to Roberts. Roberts off the block and unable to be kept alive as Ava Roberts picks up the kill.
I think this is something Dartmouth will look at coming out of this set. At this point, you wonder, certainly opportunity is still there to try to rally back, but if it doesn't happen here in the first set, I think you look ahead to the second. I think when Dartmouth has run that offense with a little bit of extra tempo, you get those sets out there a little bit quicker, and the hitters are out a little bit quicker. That's when the Providence block has had trouble closing, and that will make life easier for the Dartmouth offense, I think, if they can pick up the tempo.
And that might be an adjustment we see going into set two. As here's the attack off the top of the block, kept alive by Stevens, set by Mullins. Kawani Goots will give it a go, but terrific dig that time to keep it alive. Follow-up attack kept alive by Engstrom. Mullins once again, this time it's LaFata on the other side, but can't get that one over the net. And credit, there was a terrific dig on that play by Pokshava, the senior defensive specialist from New Jersey, who was able to dig that one out and keep it alive for Providence.
Yeah, she actually played a lot of libero last year for Providence. This year has not seen quite as much time as Likens has taken over that spot.
And now 23-16. We're going to wipe up some moisture on the floor, but it'll be Addie Fry to serve. But you look at there hasn't been a lot of service aces today. Dartmouth has one, and Providence has yet to get one today. So I'm sure both coaches will be pleased with that, keeping it played within sequence, not a lot of free points given out.
Yeah, again, the aces don't tell the whole story in terms of some of those out-of-system sets. Felt like there was an early stretch where Dartmouth was maybe running around a little bit.
And Kawani Goots will pick up the kill once again. So now 17-23, the advantage for Providence, and Goots back to serve.
Well, it's a little bit of good news, bad news, right? Goots gets the kill, gets the side out. Problem is now you don't have her hitting in the front row.
Good receive for Providence, set up for the attack by Grant, and why not? Kayla Grant, maybe not the most orthodox attack, got it through the block regardless, and picks up the point.
Well, again, it's that slide ball set, but this time Grant has the block in front of her, so Dartmouth does a better job blocking it up. So Grant makes the necessary adjustment and just pushes it through the blocker. Make sure it lands on the other side.
Now Grant will retreat from the front row to serve as here's the setup by Mullins across for Stevens off the top of the block. Kept alive that time, set back across for the attack, and that is the final point of set number one, picked up that time by Macy Taylor. And it's Providence. They took early control of the set, and they ride that all the way through to the end. They win 25-17.
Now, the big takeaway for me, Brandon, is the middles for Providence. We talked about the high efficiency numbers at Grant, but between her and Berry, combined 8 of 14 Fryer kills.
Terrific job so far for Providence. When we come back, we'll be here for set number two. Took set one by a score of 25-17. Good start so far for the Friars, and we talked about it before break, but it's been the middle blockers so far for Providence that have been the key.
Absolutely. You look at the numbers collectively between Kayla Grant and Lyric Berry, 8 kills on 8 swings. It does not get any better than that. You cannot be more perfect than 8 kills on 8 swings, and a lot of them have been of that slide set variety. So I'm sure that's a big talking point right now in the Dartmouth huddle. How do they want to block that up? A lot of those sets being pushed all the way out to the antenna. So if you're on that side, if you're hitting on that left side, you have to get all the way out to the antenna as well and make sure you're turning that ball back into the court. And for the opposite middles, it's been a tough job, but you got to follow your hitter. And whether they're on the right side, left side, right down the middle of the net, you got to be able to stay with them and not get too caught up in what's going on your own side of the net.
Absolutely, and I think also a lot of credit has to be giving over to Miller McDonald. 13 assists on only 26 sets so far in this game, so she has been terrific. Almost 50% of the time she sets it up, it results in a kill for her team.
Yeah, you wondered how it was going to, how things were going to change for Providence, right? We said no Audrey Koken, who has been a two-way setter. They've run primarily a two-setter system so far this year. Well, they switched to a one-setter system with McDonald today, and so far it's working out pretty well.
Absolutely, and I mean, you look at her career high, 25 assists against St. Peter's. Has a chance to break that today if she can keep it up. Going to be a point here for Dartmouth, though, to open set number two.
Well, that's how it's going to start for the Big Green. Again, getting Providence out of system with the serve.
And now we got Murphy back to do the honors once again. Plays this one over. Once again, some trouble, and once again, a point for the Big Green.
Yeah, I think Roden stepped in that time. Likens was in position to take that pass, and Roden stepped in front. Now, when Murphy gets the serve rolling, she could be as tough as anybody.
Yeah, Murphy, a key part of this team the last couple seasons, and once again, this time kind of more in a lead role, as this one's blocked, and it's the other setter, Tasman Mullins, who we talked about. She can do a little bit of everything, and that time she picks up the block.
So maybe you're going to see an adjustment here with Dartmouth, both setters on the floor at the same time. Mullins has hit the ball a little bit, so maybe they're going to try to utilize her as a two-way setter option. Hit in the front, set in the back.
Once again, a lot of trouble, but a good backline attack sent in, but problem there. So Dartmouth will pick up the point, and now just a really quick 4-0 advantage here in set two.
Yeah, Dartmouth able to sort of gather itself. Got down big in that first set. Sometimes those big deficits can be hard to rally back from. They did hit the ball a little bit better towards the tail end of that first set and come out strong serving here in the second.
Once again, a tough angle attack, and Engstrom will set this one up, and here's Mullins. and she'll pick up the kill. So Tasman Mullins, a block and a kill. And so far, I mean, oh, a quick timeout. Very, very quick timeout here for Providence. They've seen enough. 5 straight points for Dartmouth. They're rolling when we come back.
Here to start the second set. That's why you see the early timeout by Margot Royer Johnson, just settling her team down. Say, hey, let's focus, get a good pass.
Once again, some trouble. Attack is narrowly going to go over. Kept alive, but has to be played over by Engstrom. That allows McDonald time to set it up for the midline attack and the kill that time for Providence. So 5-1 advantage for Dartmouth, but Providence coming out of the timeout, able to take the momentum back and pick up their first point.
Yeah, it was still a good serve. Still had Providence out of system, but good roll shot forced Dartmouth into a scramble mode. Big Green had to give up the free ball and a nice play design off the free ball with Taylor coming on the double set.
This one's going to be set by Murphy across for Stevens, and that one is blocked by Lyric Berry.
Just the third block for Providence. Saw at the end of that first set, some more holes in the block started to open up. Good timing on the closeout there by Berry.
Yeah, and Berry, you look at Grant, more of an attacking middle blocker, while Berry, more of a defensive one, has more blocks. And Berry able to get her hands on that one. Attack by Stevens is going to be dug out by McDonald, set by Likens, and that one's blocked, kept alive. That's actually going to go over. And it's blocked again by Berry. And, sometimes they call it, they call it an assisted block, but I'm pretty sure that one was solo. Didn't really have anyone next to her.
Actually, Simon got through there.
Oh, she did get through there.
I landed on the Providence side. It was right straight down to the floor, but it was off Berry.
Okay.
Landed on the Friar side.
I got you. Apologies. That one finds the net for Stevens, so we'll point back to Providence anyway, as Grant will check back in for Berry. But once again, though, it's always good. Even though that one wasn't the result you wanted, Berry was in the right spot, got her hands on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wasn't quite able to square it up. Only got that right arm on the block.
Engstrom the receive, set by Murphy across for Kawani Goots, who picks up the kill. And you got to be careful, because when Kawani Goots gets going and gets that momentum, she can be really tough to stop.
Well, far and away the best hitter in that first set for Dartmouth. Converted just about every time they set her. And I would expect that they'll continue to feed her now in the front row.
Engstrom the serve. Good receive, as that one actually goes over on Dartmouth's side, and it's played over somehow, some way. Kawani Goots played it over, so I'm pretty sure she'll get credit for that one, as Dartmouth picks up the point there on a kind of a frantic range of attacks there at the net.
I think everybody was waiting for an over-the-net violation on McDonald, because she did get a piece of that ball, looked like above the net line. Somehow it landed on the Dartmouth side, and they were able to finagle it back over.
McDonald sets this one up for the attack. That's played through, but up by Stevens. Now Engstrom for Kawani Goots. And a terrific dig that time by Likens. McDonald back over for the attack by Roden. Kept alive for the moment, but not all the way back over. So Providence will pick up the point.
Excellent job. Really good drop on the fingertip. Shot from Roden there. Putting it right over the block. That's where you want it to land, exactly behind the blockers. Make it really tough for whoever's crashing the net to pop that ball up.
And now after a 5-0 start, been very even since that timeout. Has some difficulties here. Kept alive by Kawani Goots and played over by Stevens. What an effort by Goots that time to keep that alive. Goots now gets her hand on it. Kept alive though by Providence and played over. Murphy will have her choice of options. She'll go center lane, and it's blocked in front by Kayla Grant.
Well, Grant was denied a kill for the first time. Dartmouth had the slide ball read and blocked it up. Grant, though, with a great save, able to pop it back to Likens. And then when you see that one ball coming, you just sort of have to guess sometimes as a middle blocker, because when they get set that quick one set, they're either going right or going left. And you just try to take up as much lane as possible, and Kayla Grant guessed right there.
And once again, just Grant and Berry so terrific up front so far for Providence. And this is a good chance here for the Friars if they can pick up 1 or 2 more points to draw us back close to even here. That one actually went over, and
McDonald, I think, was in the net.
Yeah, McDonald was in the net that time. Up front, it was Molly Power who was trying to make a play on it for Dartmouth.
Missed opportunity, overpass.
Yeah.
Free ball there for Providence. Couldn't take advantage of it.
And now we're also going to see some fresh faces. I don't believe we saw Power in set number 1. Another face we didn't see was Ella Mae Fitzgerald, who is a defensive specialist. She's in the game. as Mullins back to serve now for the Big Green. Her serve is going to be played up that time by Taylor. Here's the setup by McDonald for the attack that gets through by Roden. Got right through the combined block that time of Roberts and Power, and Providence gets a big point back.
Yeah, this is part of the adjustment for Dartmouth here. Sticking with the two-setter rotation, but letting Mullins play in the front row. So now when she goes to the back, change on the right side. It was LaFata in the first set. Now they've got Roberts up there.
Goots to receive. Here's the setup back to Kawani Goots, who I believe she got that one off the block, and she did. So a kill there for Dartmouth and another point back for the Big Green. And like I said before, very even since it was 5-0 Dartmouth, with Providence staying right with them.
That's okay for Dartmouth. You know, you'll take that early run and hold on to it as long as possible. You know, even at this early stage, you're okay trading points.
Goots serve skims the top of the net, but no problem on the receive. Follow-up attack is blocked in front and back for Providence. This one's going to go over. Goots will play it up. Here's the setup by Mullins. Back for Roberts. Off the block and out of play. So Ava Roberts picks up the kill. And Dartmouth an 11-6 advantage.
See a little bit of frustration there from Taylor. A couple times now. First Goots, now Roberts. Able to tool that block. You have that outside hand. You almost just want to angle it a little bit. Just try to steer that ball back into the court.
Goots lines up another serve. Once again, that's actually going to go over. Now Mullins will have the setup for Roberts, who will go again. Kept up with two hands that time by Fry. Here's the setup and played over. Ingstrom got under it and went over. Played high up in the air that time as Molly Power able to keep it alive. Roberts will try again. Good back and forth here so far. Terrific set, but backing up the play was Mullins. So Ingstrom will set to Stevens. Down the line, and the kill there for Piper Stevens.
And immediately Poksheva up with a hand of apology to her team. She, too late to recognize that ball was going wide from Stevens. Tried to go right down the line with it, just had a little curve to it at the end. But Poksheva was sort of planted on that line. And look, when you're a defensive player, your instinct is to play the ball. So you don't falter for doing what her instincts told her to do there. But missed opportunity to get a free one back, as that ball was clearly going out of bounds.
And Providence will take their last time out here to talk it over. But, you know, you look at that point, whenever it's going back and forth for that length of time, it's just so demoralizing if you don't get the point out of it. So for Providence, they're going to have a chance to regroup here. Now, you do have the cushion. You did take set number one, but so far set number two has gone the way of the Big Green.
Yeah, you do have those long rallies, certainly with your big momentum points. And again, I think, you know, you may say, well, feels early to have both your timeouts burned, but you want to halt that 5-0 momentum run there. Dartmouth, again, trying to stretch that lead out here a little bit in the second set, so you want to put a halt to that momentum. And now this is where we start to see the chess match, right? Because in the first set, we saw the Providence middles dominate. Not so far here in the second set. I think the Big Green have done a really good job adjusting, sort of anticipating those slide sets a little bit more, and also just putting Providence more out of system, because if the Friars have to set it out of system, they're not going to be able to set up those slide balls. You need a perfect pass to be able to run that kind of offense. So if the perfect pass isn't there, we've seen the Friars have a little bit of difficulty running things when they're out of system.
And the serves of Dartmouth certainly have been very, very good in this second set. Kawani Goots has done a couple in a row here as she'll go once again out of the timeout. And once again, some trouble. They'll keep this one alive for the attack by Grant, who plays it over with two hands, tapped high up in the air by Mullins. Now the attack by Roberts, who will flip it over the block, but Likens is there. Set up once again, but Ingstrom there to dig it out. Mullins back over. Roberts will try again, off the blocking, good for a kill. And right now it kind of feels like the default for Dartmouth is to just feed Ava Roberts. She's gotten a lot of attacks the last couple times through.
Yeah, they've started to take advantage on that side. They've tooled the block a couple times, and so Providence going to make a change here. Sophia Adkins, true freshman out of Ohio, and to give Taylor a spell.
Adkins, a prolific career out of Ohio, where she was an All-Ohio second-team selection. Some difficult, once again, a very terrific serve. Providence is going to be able to play it off the block, but Stevens is there. That's actually going to go over, and it's going to be put back down. I believe you can credit that one for Providence, able to pick that one up, as it was Sophia Adkins.
Yeah, getting into the match, getting right into the mix. Boy, how many just sort of balls on top of the net
Yeah.
have we seen today.
We've seen a lot of 50-50 balls today, as that one a little bit too much on it off the hand of Grant.
That's something Providence can't afford to have at this stage. Down as big as they are, you got to be relatively error-free at the service line.
And now Molly Powell will serve for Dartmouth. Once again, good job there as they're able to play this one over. Power with the dig that time. The middle blocker getting on the court. Set up by McDonald, across for that attack by Adkins, played high up in the air by Kawani Goots. Mullins will set for the attack by Stevens off the net, and that finds just shy of the sideline, the floor of Providence. So 15-7 now, the advantage for Dartmouth.
How about Stevens? Caught a break earlier when Poksheva played a ball that was out. This time gets another fortunate bounce as the net cord helps her keep that ball in play.
And from Molly Power, that's actually her first dig of the season she just had on that sequence. Here's the setup for the attack, and this time they go back to it. And Barry is able to pick up the kill.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a high-risk play to call it right off the serve. You have to have a good pass. That first pass hasn't always been there for Providence, but it was on, and it was there, and Barry made sure to stuff it through.
So here's the serve for Providence. Kawani Goots the receive, set up by Mullins. Roberts will give it a go. And Ava Roberts powers that one through, and no chance for Providence to try and dig that one out.
We were talking before the match, Brennan, and we said coming in, the story on Dartmouth is Kawani Goots is a known commodity now. Going into her junior season, she is definitely the go-to hitter here for Dartmouth. But the Big Green, their relative success this season is going to really depend on some of those other hitters like an Ava Roberts.
And that's a block up front for Emma Simon. Once again, Providence trying to go back to their bread and butter, but Emma Simon read that one and with one hand able to deflect it away.
Yeah, Providence right now, again, just trying to find that offensive rhythm that they had in the first set, and Dartmouth has just done a really good job of taking it away.
Once again, a lot of difficulties in a service ace for Karen Murphy. And you can't speak enough. Karen Murphy, some people serve with that top spin on it to try and duck it over the net, but Murphy almost a knuckleball, right? Where it shifts direction at the last second.
Yeah, it's a really tough float serve. I mean, that's exactly what you want on those type of serves, is you want the ball to dip and move, and you want it to have a lot of late movement on it as well.
This time, though, clean receive for the setup and the kill. Right in front with Shea Dupree.
Good job taking care of the ball by Dupuis. 2 blockers in front of her. Takes something off it, just finds the hand.
So Providence will have the serve here, down 18-9 early, or late here in set number 2, I should say. That one has too much on it, and you're seeing that a little bit too, where Providence, sometimes they get a point back, the serve is a little bit too much on it, and momentum will go right back to the Big Green.
Yeah, it's only their 4th error, but again, 2 on the last 2 serves, and chasing a 10-point set. Can't afford to have serve errors at this stage.
Now,
still surprised Dartmouth only has the 2 credited aces. It's felt like they've just had Providence all off balance here.
Engstrom to Kawani Goots, who will play this one across. Mullins will play it over softly. McDonald is set across for Rodin, who plays over the block, and 3 Big Green players go down for that one to keep it alive. Once again, though, free opportunity here for Providence if they can take advantage. Not to be, as Mullins to Murphy to Kawani Goots off the top of the block, and we get a whistle, and
Providence in the net.
Oh, yeah. So Dartmouth will pick up the point, and now only 5 points away from getting a set back.
No tipping, apparently, in lead arena. Great job of crashing by the Big Green. Just all over all 3 tips, and we saw Margaret Royer Johnson hop right up off the bench after the net call. Not happy that her team is trying to sort of dink and dunk their way into it.
McDonald set up, Rodin off the top of the block. Goots will back it up. Now Mullins off the block, and it's good. Setter to setter that time. Murphy to Mullins, and it's 21-9, the advantage for Dartmouth.
Again, I think you have to really credit Coach Kim Marine Campbell with the adjustments for Dartmouth. They have certainly paid off. It hasn't necessarily been the personnel per se, but I think just the shift in the rotation and a little bit of an energy change as well. You can tell Dartmouth is flying around here in the second set, just not letting any ball fall to the floor.
Yeah, and I mean, It's always a good sign, right? That's something when you're watching back the film of the game, right? You see three players diving for it. It's just a good sign to see everybody getting on the floor, including earlier I mentioned Molly Power, her first dig of the season on a diving effort. Here's the setup. Mullins will try again off the block. Mullins will save it back up. Murphy, this time it's Kawani Goots from the other side, and Kawani Goots picks up the kill. That's her 9th so far in this one.
And that's what makes Goots so dangerous, right? Everybody in the gym knows she's getting that set after Mullins gets the recovery. You know exactly where that ball's going. Providence has the block there. Goots is still able to beat it.
She has been stellar so far in this one. Likens the receive, set back for the attack, and the soft touch that time placed down by Kayla Grant. So far it's still there occasionally, but I really think Dartmouth has done a good job of preventing Providence from setting that up easily.
Yeah, it's only the second time that slide ball is converted for Providence in this set. Compared to how many times they ran it and were successful with it in the first set.
This one catches the net, but Power is there. Back across to Mullins, tough angle. Dug out that time by Dupree. Now it's Fitzgerald who gets a piece as Murphy, center line for the attack that has a little bit too much on it from Molly Power. And Dartmouth wanted to call that. Perhaps Providence touched it a little bit, but they won't get it.
Yeah, I think with such a big lead, you're not necessarily going to fight this one. If it were a closer point, at this stage of the set, maybe go a little bit stronger.
Here's the setup for Kawani Goots, who splits the block and picks up the kill. Kawani Goots now becomes the first player today in double-digit kills. That's her 10th.
A really good ball, nice and high, allows her to get on top of it.
And now Mullins will retreat to serve, but Goots, terrific start so far. Dartmouth 2 points away from taking a set back and drawing us back even. And that's going to be a service ace for Tasman Mullins. And it's been great serves, but also some problems for Providence on those receives.
Yeah, it's just been a totally different story, right? From set 1 to set 2 in terms of that first ball from Providence. And it's a little bit of the streakiness of this team that sort of has plagued them at times over the past couple of years.
Mullins another serve, and once again, able to keep it alive, though, this time for Providence. Some difficulties, though. Power will set this one to Kawani Goots, but dug out that time and kept alive by Pokshava. Attack from the other side, and Rodin powers it to the floor.
Great job by McDonald getting that ball all the way out and across for Rodin to let it fly.
McDonald now leads all players with 19 assists, but so far 24 combined assists for Dartmouth. 20 combined between Murphy and Mullins. Engstrom to Mullins, back to Kawani Goots, who able to play that around the block and pick up the kill, and it's 25-13 as Dartmouth wins set number 2.
Again, nice bounce back set for the Big Green. Kawani Goots doing her thing. Excellent job at the service line by Dartmouth and Providence off balance the entire set.
We split the first 2 sets.
Their serve and their defensive momentum to spur their offense.
And it's a whole new game, though. You come out, whenever you split those first 2 sets, kind of becomes a whole new game. And then also between those second and third sets, you get a longer break, a chance to really talk it over, perhaps some extra coaching you can give your players. So really fascinating to see the chess match and what adjustments each team will make.
I mean, I think honestly the message is really simple for Providence. It gets back to what we were doing in the first set. Good serving, run our offense, good defense to start it. For Dartmouth, more of the same. Good serving, again, is the key. Be on your toes defensively.
Stevens the receive. Murphy just going to fire it and pick up the kill. And the bench love that one.
Yeah, that's the advantage when you have that 2-setter rotation. If you start Murphy in the front row, if it's a tight set, let her take a crack at it.
You could definitely tell Providence perhaps not fully ready because Murphy, that's not really what she usually will go for. As here's the attack, Engstrom back to Murphy. And that's a kill for Dartmouth, and it's Emma Simon picking it up. The junior from Los Altos, California, making her mark.
Yeah, again, this was the recipe, right? Crash the tips. Engstrom, good anticipation. And Dartmouth, good, quick transition offense there.
And part of the key going to be clean receives on these serves. McDonald will set this one up for the attack. Murphy able to keep it alive with one hand. Engstrom back across. Mullins will play it over. McDonald for a backline attack by Roden. Engstrom with two hands, and Engstrom will have to play it over for the free ball. How will Providence respond? They set up the attack off the block, and a big point there for Providence, not because they get one on the scoreboard, but also because Murphy no longer will be serving.
Absolutely, get her off the line, get out of that rotation, and a couple nice defensive plays as well by Providence.
Dupree with the final touch that time. And the serve by Taylor. Engstrom the receive, Murphy, and that was a powerful attack, but too much on it that time for Simon.
I like the idea, though. Quick offense, good first pass by Engstrom, design play on the shoot set, but those types of plays are always timing plays, and I think Simon may be just a little too quick with the arm swing.
This time it'll be Mullins who plays it off the block for the kill. And it's been fun to see that adjustment. Mullins kind of, they were running two different setters. They were switching them out, but then Mullins in set two comes on as, when she's not setting, almost a right side or an outside hitter, and she's been really big for Dartmouth so far in the last two sets.
Yeah, it's a boost in a couple ways. First of all, Mullins gives you a new look option hitting-wise. But secondly, if Murphy has to take the first ball, now you have a second set of reliable hands on the floor.
Engstrom will play this one over, as that one catches antenna, so a point for Dartmouth.
Yeah, you could see McDonald's plan there. She was leaning as she went into the set, and she's done a really good job of pushing that back set all the way out to the antenna. But when you lean going into it, you're going to push it that much further, and that put Dupuy in a tough spot.
McDonald this time plays it up. Roden plays it out. Point for Dartmouth, and once again, it's the Big Green getting the early advantage in the set, a 5-2 advantage.
Yeah, another out-of-system set there, and I think Roden had the right idea, just didn't get quite enough topspin on the ball, trying to hit it over the block.
Serve for Fitzgerald, first touch by Roden. McDonald back, and that one's going to go well out. So Dupree trying to kind of wrap that one around the block, but put a lot too much on that one.
Yeah, just didn't get the control she wanted on the tip. Only looked like she got about 2-3 fingers on the ball, and it came off awkwardly.
Roden another receive. This time the attack by Barry, and the kill for Lyric Barry.
You can see now Providence is starting to run that design slide more and more off of the serve. It's going to be incumbent on the serve receivers to have good passes. That time it was there, and Barry able to finish it off.
Engstrom the receive. Murphy the set. Across for Kawani Goots, but dug out that time and kept alive for Providence. Good work by Taylor. Follow up. That time it's Fitzgerald. Engstrom will have to play it over. Now Providence lines up the attack, tapped over the block, and this time a second late was Karen Murphy.
Able to get under it, just not able to pop it up. Nice double set there for Roden coming out of the middle as Engstrom wants to wipe up the floor. But that rally was an example of why having Mullins stay and play in the front row was a good example. Murphy had to take the first ball, so Mullins able to slide in and set that out to Goots. Gave her a good opportunity, and just a nice dig by Taylor, able to square up in front of it.
Yeah,
That's all you can ask when you're in the back row.
Absolutely, and I mean, usually that responsibility would fall to the libero, but Engstrom, certainly a capable setter, but having that second setter can be all the more valuable as Kawani Goots skies that one. And Providence, just like that, a point away from drawing us back even here in the third set. So first two sets, early advantages for each side, and then they were able to ride that to a win, but this one, very close so far.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, we start to get into some nip and tuck sets here after the first two.
And that one blocked by Roden.
Hard to say if that one actually was going to make it over or not. That was right about net level, and I think Mullins knew she caught that one a little bit low.
Likens the serve this time. That one catches the net. So Dartmouth will get a point back, and therefore the lead, as back to serve now is Emma Engstrom. Engstrom over the top. Likens plays it up for the setup. Attack by Grant, and that time it's pure, as they were able to set up once again, going to the side towards the antenna, and Grant able to play it back middle.
Same design play we saw them run with Berry before. This time there's more of a gap in the block again.
Shea Dupree will serve now for Providence, looking to, I believe this would be their first lead if they can get the point here, as that they're going to call that one going over the net was Grant. So Dartmouth will pick up the point.
Yeah, Grant doesn't really like the call, but it's tough. You know, when your job is to go up and block, you see that ball coming right back on top of the net. You just have to wait until it's in that net play in that 50-50 area. And setters these days are so good about getting to that ball early and getting their hands on it before it gets to the net plane. So you really have to wait if you're one of those blockers until it gets there. I always like the strategy of elevate and then literally put your hands flat above the net. That way you know you're not going over the top.
Roden with the attack that time, and Roden will pick up the kill. So we're back even once again. But, you know, we talked about it. A lot of 50-50 balls we've seen so far today. A lot of opportunities for these players up front to make their marks.
Yeah, again, you see those potential overpasses coming over. You're thinking easy money, easy kill, easy point for your team. But not always the case.
Yeah, sometimes you get just a little bit overeager. You go a little bit early, to your point. Got to make sure you're on that plane. Fitzgerald to receive. Engstrom will set this one for Kawani Goots through the block. Terrific job by Kawani Goots that time as well. Perhaps not maybe exactly where she would have liked it, but able to kind of play it going down straight through the block.
And that's what makes her such a special player, is when you're able to take out-of-system sets, bad sets, and you're able to fix them. You know, whether it's with a tip, a roll shot, just power through a block. And those types of hitters are what a team needs to really make a difference.
Goots to Mullins, back to Kawani Goots, and once again, difficulties, but that time, no problem up front by Grant as she picks up the block.
Yeah, a little bit tough. That first touch by Goots, she really had to go full extension. Mullins available to make the second play, but the only player she could have set there was Goots, who was still, I think, finding her equilibrium after that full extension touch.
And now this one played forward by Grant. Engstrom will set this one across to Stevens. Stevens gets by the block, but the dig that time by Kayla Grant. Dartmouth able to play it over, but it's a free opportunity that's taken full advantage of by Lyric Berry. Those free balls, you know what's going to happen. You know what Providence is going to set up, but it's so difficult to stop.
Absolutely, and again, really great job by Miller McDonald of pushing that back set all the way to the pin. Good elevation, allowing Berry to get on top of it.
And now it's Providence in control here as Dartmouth will look to draw us back even, and they will. Some difficulties there trying to play that one over.
Yeah, when that ball gets caught up in the net, really difficult. If you can't get it back sort of to the middle of the floor right away, it's really tough to just sort of spin it, get that angle up and over.
Especially because obviously, you know, great players, but obviously a little bit of panic sometimes in those situations, just trying to make sure it gets over. Likens will set this one up for the attack. That's off the block, but back down on Providence's side of the court. Emma Simon there that time alongside Ava Roberts.
Yeah, I think a missed opportunity there for Taylor. Again, it's a high ball. It's in from the pin, so Simon doesn't have to go as far to close out the block. Taylor had an open spot right behind the blocker. That's one area where you potentially could resort to a tip.
This one will come across for Taylor. Mullins the first touch, so the set by Molly Power. And Roberts is blocked. Terrific job up front. Once again, it's, I believe that one, yep, Lyric Berry with the block that time.
Same thing, just on the other side, right?
Yep.
Again, Roberts in from the antenna, so middle doesn't have to go as far to close out on the block. And Berry doing a real good job, again, elevating, penetrating with the block, taking up space.
So once again, we find ourselves back even, 11-11 as this serve goes over. Mullins will have to dive as she sets this one up. Mullins going to have to try and scramble back into the play as Providence sets up their attack. That one just an inch in front of Mullins as that got through the block. So Dartmouth going to take the timeout here as they trail here in the third set. Still a close one, though. 12-11 the advantage for Providence.
Everybody excited always about getting up on the big screen and come out here.
I'd say it's a pretty good opening crowd here for the first home game of the season for Dartmouth. Obviously, typically see the biggest crowds once you get really into the nitty-gritty of Ivy League play, those big matchups. But a good chance here for Dartmouth, and Trail by a point, though, to Providence. That forced the first time out by the Big Green. Stevens the receive, set up by Mullins. Attacked by Roberts off the top of the block, but kept alive. What an effort that time by Fry. Engstrom going to give Dartmouth another chance at it, though. For the backline attack by Kuwani Goots. And you could see the adjustment there up front by Lyric Berry trying to move her hands at the last second to block it, but unable to redirect it on the Dartmouth side.
Yeah, your instinct as a middle is always to block. That's your job. That's why you're up in the front row, obviously. But when you're not 100% sure who's hitting, sometimes it's best just to stay down and let your defense take it because they might have a better look at it.
Here's the setup as that one is going to go wide. Good read there by Karen Murphy to let it go.
Yeah, again, a couple times now in these Providence tips, you still want to be able to control the ball. A couple times they've sort of closed their hand to it, just not able to get the touch on the ball that they want.
McDonald the set, that'll come back, and that catches antenna. So we've seen that before. You really want to push it towards the antenna, but that one a little bit too much on it.
Yeah, I think that time Berry just maybe waited a half beat too long. Again, that down the line shot was open for her. And I think she had in her mind that she wanted to go back across the court.
But as you said, timing so critical on that attack, as this one going to be played up in the air by Murphy. That allows Mullins to set it. Back to Goots. It's blocked, but Engstrom is right there. Now Goots will try again, and that one finds the line. Kuwani Goots from a tough angle on the back line, able to pick up the kill.
Love the defense from Dartmouth there. It's a great play design by Providence. They faked the slide. They set it to the middle. It's a good rip from Dupuis, but better defense from Murphy.
And Murphy will serve now as Providence. Clean receive. That allows him to set this up and pick up the kill. Shea Dupree will do the honors. And that breaks a 4-0 Dartmouth run out of the timeout. It was 12-11. It was 15-12, and now Providence back on the board. Back to serve now will be Macy Taylor. Taylor's serve finds the net, and we talked about not a ton numerically of service errors, like not a large quantity, but certainly some untimely ones after a big point where they give a point right back.
Yeah, that's going to be number 6 now for Providence, but again, it's not how many, it's when they happen.
Serve here for Fitzgerald. Set up by McDonald for the attack by Dupree. Good job by Dupree that time to kind of thread the needle between the block of Kuwani Goots and the antenna.
Yeah, and that's, again, a function of the success of the middles early on for Providence. Now that sort of seed is planted in the Dartmouth head, so they're not as focused on that back set to Dupuis.
Fitzgerald, some difficulties, but straight to Kuwani Goots, who will actually set this one across for the attack and the kill by Tasman Mullins. So, we've seen Mullins set up Kuwani Goots a couple times today. That time she got to return the favor.
Yeah, that's an aggressive play by Mullins. You would not anticipate a big swing in that scenario on a broken play like that, but able to let it rip. And I think maybe caught the Friars a little bit off guard there with the power on that shot.
So Dartmouth the advantage, 17-14 in this pivotal third set. Serve for Engstrom. Set up by McDonald once again, looking for Dupree. Therefore it is Murphy, so Engstrom will set now to Kuwani Goots. Over the block, did that find the back line? It did. No, they are going to overrule that it was tipped. So Dartmouth will pick up the point there. The flag initially went up.
Both coaches are very upset here. Kevin Marine Campbell irate that the ball either wasn't called in or wasn't a touch. And then now, after the call was made, Margaret Royer Johnson takes the timeout, saying, if that ball was out, there's no way anybody on my team touched it.
Right. And that was a tough one. It's always tough, too, when you got that near side official next to the bench, put the flag up. So you think it's a point for yourself initially, and then it goes back to the big green, especially when the set is this close, 18-14 now, the advantage for Dartmouth.
Well, and this is an area, again, it's a non-conference match, so I don't believe we have the challenge system in place. But, I can almost 100% guarantee that were it in place, you would have seen whoever comes out, in this case Providence, you would have seen them want to challenge that point.
No, absolutely. But not able to challenge. But now each team takes a timeout, and we saw how Dartmouth responded, right? They were down by a point, kind of really taking control of the set following the timeout. What's it going to take for Providence to do the same?
Well, I think this has been much more, first off, Brent, of what we'd expected to see between these two teams, right? Fairly evenly matched. Both have had their moments in the non-conference already. So I think we sort of expected to see tighter sets, swings of momentum throughout. That's what we've gotten here in this third set. For Providence, again, it all goes back to the serve receive. It all goes back to being in system early on and trying to find a way to just put that first ball down, because for the most part, when these rallies have been extended, Dartmouth has found a way to just sort of extend play, and then make something happen offensively.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really been the story for Dartmouth is their defense this year. Their 16.36 digs per set ranks number 39 in the country, while their opponent hit percentage of only 175 ranks top 80 in the country. Dupree's attack looked like that might have been blocked, I believe, by Molly Power up front alongside Kawani Goots.
Again, looking for that right side off the serve. It was there. Dupuis just ends up getting it turned away.
And it's always tough. These points out of timeouts can be so pivotal. It will be Dartmouth who picks up the first one out of the Providence timeout.
And this is the largest lead for either team in this set.
It was a very back and forth set all the way up until about 12-11 when Dartmouth called their first timeout. We're able to kind of extend the lead out a bit. Engstrom plays it over. Lycan saves it in. McDonald will set across for Roden. Off the block and through for a kill. So big point back for Providence here. And as Shea Dupree retreats to serve, this is a big sequence here for Providence. If you can rattle off a couple points here, be huge in terms of getting yourself back in the set before it's too late. Serve from Dupree. A service ace. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered for Providence.
Yeah, and I think we're starting to see Providence go at Kawani Goots a little bit with the serve. Not necessarily because, of her passing. They're not necessarily trying to take advantage of that because she is a good passer. I think they're just trying to sort of maybe wear her down a little bit. Say, make her work a little bit more on defense and see if that will take out of her offense.
Well, this time she wasn't involved as Stevens took the receive, but the attack by Power has too much on it. And certainly, too, if she does make that first contact, it somewhat takes her out of position for a quick attack the other way. So that means that Dartmouth will have to set up somebody else.
Yeah, we see the big green adjustment here. They shift the serve receive around, push Goots up above the 10-foot line or below the 10-foot line, and bring Mullins back to help pass.
Engstrom's right there for the receive. Murphy the set. It will be Kawani Goots over the block, but kept alive. Good work there by Taylor. Murphy the set. Back to Kawani Goots, who will try again, but it's rejected. Kayla Grant all over that one. And guess what? We're back even.
Absolutely. Nice job by Providence. Big in the blocking game there. That was what Dartmouth wanted to do in transition. Goots wanted a set in that time, but Providence was ready for it.
Another serve here for Dupree. And it's a service ace as that one ducks down in front of Piper Stevens.
First one tonight.
Oh, first one.
Yep. Have not had an ace yet. And there's nothing you can do with that ball. I mean, that is
perfect
an
placement.
Impossible serve to pass.
And Dartmouth will take their last time out now. They had an advantage. It felt like they might have had control of the set, but Providence storms back and takes a 2019 advantage here.
And again, as the old cliche goes, right? It's a game of runs, and we saw the run from Dartmouth. Now we see the counter run from Providence, and now an opportunity for the Big Green to sort of gather and try to figure out, again, it all starts with the pass off the serve. Big time serve there by Dupuis. You wonder how aggressive she gets coming out of the timeout. She tries to go for that big drop on the float again. Or does she, sort of let it hang up there a little bit and maybe give Dartmouth some time to see it and follow it? I think the Big Green are comfortable with the situation they're in, having made that adjustment already, pushing Goots up and bringing Mullins back. I think they're fine with the three that are passing. It's just a matter of executing.
And it certainly can be tough, too. You get in a rhythm, couple consecutive serves there for Dupree. Now she sits on the bench for a minute. Perhaps she loses some of that fire we saw from her earlier serves.
Absolutely. And, especially when you have, a younger player like Dupuis, just a sophomore, you have time to think about it. Sometimes you have time to think about it a little too much.
So we saw Dartmouth. They took full advantage, 4 straight points following their first time out of the set. Do they have some more of that type of energy in them? As the serve from Dupree, played by Stevens. Murphy will set. It's going to go back for the attack by Mullins off the block and into the stands. So Tasman Mullins picks up the kill. And we are back even, 2020.
Now we have seen Mullins swing low a couple times. This time it works out in her favor because Grant was so high. She ends up not being able to control the block. It caught her, I think, right around the elbow. That's why it ricochets all the way up, about halfway up the stands.
Apologies, 2019, or no, it is 2020. They just added it. So 2020, the score here. And the setup for Grant, off the top of the block and through. So perhaps not the hardest attack there from Kayla Grant, but did just what she wanted and picked up the kill.
You don't hit over 450, smashing everything in sight. Got to have a little finesse to the game as well. And Kayla Grant just always knows what it takes. She's so good at spotting the block and just, she's got a lane to swing. She'll swing. If it's not there, she'll tip.
And did that one catch the floor? It did. Off the serve that time from Addie Fry. And that's a big point for Providence here in a very tight third set. We saw each team kind of took advantage. It was a 25-17 for Providence, a 25-13 for Dartmouth. Each team right here, but it's Providence in control right now, 22-20. Engstrom gets the receive this time. Set up by Mullins to Kawani Goots. And that one might have been out of the back line. Likens tried to play it up with 2 hands and unable to do so.
Yeah, got in front of it, got the hands up, just couldn't make clean contact. Good drive on that ball from Goots.
And neither of these two teams unused to going beyond 25 points in a set. They both had it happen a couple times this season. That's off the block of Molly Power, who picks it up alongside Ava Roberts. And we're back even.
Great job by Power that time, getting her right shoulder aligned with Taylor's right shoulder. That's exactly what you want to do as a middle blocker, because if you line up pretty much shoulder to shoulder, you're going to take away the maximum amount of space.
And Power, terrific so far this set. She picks up the block, and you just look, Providence, now they took their last time out. It's just so important right here because to come so close and not win the set would be so demoralizing to either side in this one.
Absolutely. You want to have that 2-1 advantage going into the fourth. You want to feel like you've got momentum on your side. And now with no more timeouts left, this next point is obviously huge in terms of, just trying to grab the momentum in this set.
And Providence, a team not unknown for battling through adversity. You look at that win against Brown earlier this season, a reverse sweep. They lost the first 2 sets, won the next 3. So even if they do ultimately fall here in set 3, which they're right there with Dartmouth, it could go to either team. But if they do fall, they have the fight in them to force a 5th set.
Absolutely, and I think we've seen that from both teams. Talked about Dartmouth, a team that has not been swept yet this season in their 2 losses. So that's a team that's going to fight and claw and scratch. And, this is sort of setting the tone for both teams this weekend. So, both want to open things up with some positive momentum going into what's going to be a long day for probably about everybody tomorrow.
2 games on that schedule tomorrow. Providence will play Siena at 4 o'clock, and then Dartmouth will play Quinnipiac at 7 o'clock. 22-22. Dartmouth to serve out of the Providence timeout. Neither team has a timeout left. Goots plays this one in. Providence able to set it up for the attack by Grant. That's blocked. And a call here against Providence. So a point will come to Dartmouth, and that's a big swing on that play. 23-22.
Well, you knew where Providence was going with it. They had the block ready for Grant, and I think she may have just barely grazed the net on the follow-through.
So 23-22 now with the serve for Kawani Goots. Likens the receive. Grant will try again. Once again, Stevens is there. Set up by Engstrom. Attack by Roberts. And Roberts puts Dartmouth on set point.
It's been kind of a quiet set for Ava Roberts. She was outstanding in the second, though. Good time to bring out that terrific cut shot.
And we've seen both teams battle back from some deficits, but has to be at least 2 straight points for Providence here to stay alive. Nearly the last point right there. They'll keep this one going. Mullins the first touch, so Engstrom will set. Attack by Stevens. Kept alive for the moment by Providence. Final touch has to go over. Hoots the first touch. Mullins the set. Roberts looking for the finish. And not to be. We'll keep going. Setup. Power. Gets it. Molly Power with the finishing touch, and Dartmouth a 2-1 set advantage. 25-22 in set number 3.
I'll credit Dartmouth in a set of swings. The Big Green ultimately able to come up with the final run. Looked like it was going to get away from them for a moment, but Goots with a service line gets them all the way there.
We'll be right back for set number 4 in this one. Dartmouth in front. Third set, Brandon Pedrosa alongside Ben Ulcher. And thank you for joining us. It's been a terrific game so far. Looking back at that third set, Dartmouth able to do what had to be done to come out with a set victory.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a terrific third set, back and forth battle. We saw adjustments on both sides, and ultimately Dartmouth again. In the end, the difference was the serve, and it was Kawani Goots, who's been one of their stronger servers, had a couple of real tough serves at 22 all. Threw Providence out of system right away. Unfortunate where Grant ends up in the net, and they had, a couple off-balance plays, free balls to Dartmouth. Took a couple of opportunities through, but eventually Dartmouth able to close it out. Good swings from Ava Roberts, getting the job done.
Providence has forced a fifth set against Navy opponent before. We talked about that. Brown, a 25-23 fourth set for Providence, allowed them to force the fifth and final set. So they've done it before. They know what it takes. They've done it against Ivy competition. So exciting to see how they come out here and look to respond in the fourth set.
Well, again, for Providence, it's all about that first touch. It's all about being able to run their offense efficiently. Dartmouth has done a better job getting prepared for those middle slides. So that'll be interesting to see sort of how that battle goes. If Providence can continue to have that option available to them is the first step. The other part of it is now being able to convert on it, because it's not an automatic like it was in the first set.
It's going to start a lot with these receives as well, as Murphy sends this one over. No problem this time for the setup and the attack over by Taylor. Ingstrom will set. Mullins will give it a go. That's blocked, but Ingstrom actually off the new feature here in Lead Arena. It's kept alive, though. Providence looks to return. Goots, the dig, set up by Murphy, attacked by Stevens. Backing up the play that time was McDonald. So Likens will set for the attack. That time Murphy the first touch. So Mullins back across to Stevens off the block. And that one.
Blocking the net.
Oh, it's going to be an issue there for Providence, as initially seemed like a block. We saw both teams celebrate, but Dartmouth will pick up the point.
Good block, but you saw the net moving at the end, and it's always a telltale sign.
And we mentioned before, though, Murphy had the dig that time. Mullins seamlessly swooped in to set that play up. Advantage of having two setters on the court. McDonald, that one's going to go off the block and out of play, so the kill picked up that time for Lyric Berry off the hands of Emma Simon.
Nice turn again by the sophomore.
And I will say the body language for Providence coming out was very positive. All smiles, heads held high. You can tell they know they're still very much in this one. They're not feeling down from that third set whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly no reason to. They know they just need to clean up one or two things here or there, and they're right back in it.
Dupree the soft touch, and I believe that was touched by Dartmouth, so Providence will pick up the point. Good work there by Shea Dupree.
Yeah, I think that was going in anyway, but Mullins got a piece reaching back there on the tip. It's one thing I'd be interested to see for Providence. Again, when they are out of system, you have to use the outsides a little bit more. Like to see a little bit more from Taylor and Roden. I think they're certainly capable of having big-time numbers. Roden's had a good night, but Taylor has been held down a little bit by the Dartmouth block.
Stevens will pick up the kill that time. She'll check out for LMA Fitzgerald. So Fitzgerald will come in to do the honors serving. Fitzgerald has appeared in all 6 games, the sophomore out of Savannah, Georgia. You look at this Dartmouth team, the experience of Emma Ingstrom, the senior. Maybe a player like LMA Fitzgerald next year, maybe she will be in that libero spot for Dartmouth. Here's the setup for the attack by Dupree. And that finds the back corner for the kill. Perfectly placed.
I mean, you could not have diagrammed that one any better. Landing just about where the end line meets the sideline. Terrific looping ball there by Dupuis.
And once again, back and forth we go. Very contested so far through the first 5 points of set 4. Murphy to Kawani Goots. Off the block and good for the kill. Kawani Goots has been all over today as she now has picked up her game-high 17th kill.
Just a machine.
Double-double for Goots today. Also has 10 digs so far. Ingstrom the serve. Played up by Taylor, set by McDonald, attacked by Dupree. Fitzgerald got her hands on it. Murphy diving, finds Goots, who picks up the kill. And that's just 3 perfect plays in that sequence. The effort by Fitzgerald, Murphy, the great set out of a tough spot, and Goots making the best out of it.
Again, when all else fails, find number 10.
You know, last year she was a key part. This year she's really been the main focus offensively for Dartmouth as this one's tapped over, played up. Murphy, center attack. Kept alive that time by McDonald, so the set by Likens. Great effort by Ingstrom to keep that alive. Set back across for Goots. Goots looking for her 3rd straight kill. Can't get it. Providence keeps this one alive. Roden off the block and picks up the point.
Excellent job there by Roden, finding the hands. Mullins taking a moment here to tie the shoe.
So 4-4 even. We've hit every number even so far here in set number 4. Serve here is going to be just wide and a point back for Dartmouth. Take a look at those service errors as well. 6 so far for Providence. We're now 7. 3 so far for Dartmouth. That's been a little bit of an edge for the Big Green too in these more contested sets.
Yeah, they've been very low error with the serve. And obviously we talked about, especially in that second set, put Providence out of system on a number of occasions.
Mullins will have the serve. Roden the receive. She'll go right back for the attack and pick it up. The give and go that time with Miller McDonald.
Again, starting to see McDonald feed the outsides a little bit more. Roden was definitely the leader among that. And now we're seeing, again, a tweak to the rotation here from Providence. They're going to go back to the freshman Adkins in place of Taylor.
Holds the Mercy McCauley High School record for career kills with 906 as that attack goes too far once again. And once again, you get some momentum back, you have a good sequence, and then a point straight back to Dartmouth off the service error.
And compounded by who you put on the line for Dartmouth as well. Goots, who just closed out the 3rd set with good serving.
Goots off to a stellar start this season all over the court, whether it's digs, kills, or service aces. She's done it all, even had an assist earlier today. As here's the setup for the attack off the block and the kill picked up that time for Kayla Grant. And you could see Stevens on that play. Got a lot of it, but just couldn't quite redirect that one where she wanted it to go.
Yeah, sometimes you know exactly what to do, and sometimes the other side just executes better.
Good defense, better offense. As Roberts will give it a go. That's going to go high up into the air behind the bench of Providence.
Almost a kind bounce there for the Friars. That got very close to the lights, the banners, the beams, all the hubbub up above the gym here in Lead Arena. And if it comes back to you, you play it and play on.
Talk a lot about home court advantage. That would have been the away advantage that time for Providence. As this one is going to get redirected, a terrific serve by Kawani Goots. And Dartmouth, a 2-point advantage. We haven't really seen those yet here in the 4th set.
Yeah, and again, it's a terrific cut serve.
Apologies, it was actually Molly Power on the serve that time. My bad.
4th ace.
The first ace of the season for Molly Power. Set up. Perfect set for the attack. Did that catch the block? It did. So Lyric Berry will pick up the kill.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard the tip. I mean, you heard it was sort of a thud, right?
Yeah.
The initial thud of the swing and then the thud of the deflection.
And sometimes you can tell as well with the spin, right? Off the hand, it takes a redirection ever so slightly. It did feel like that one did catch the block at Dartmouth that time. So a point back here for Providence, but good work there by Molly Power on those serves, picking up her first service ace. Serve here for McDonald. Goots the receive. Set up by Mullins for the attack by Stevens, but a terrific dig to keep that one alive by Adkins. Unable to do anything with it that time, though. And Dartmouth, a 9-7 advantage.
Well, it's an unspoken rule in volleyball, sometimes very much spoken, but second ball always goes to the setter. that time, McDonald's overextended herself trying to get to that second ball and actually ended up cutting off her teammate Fry, who was in better position to make a better play on that ball.
Murphy, the serve, clean receive. Good chance here for Providence as that one is going to avoid all the light fixtures. Great job by Likens and played over. Providence stays alive, but Dartmouth the free opportunity for Stevens, who puts an end to it. Piper Stevens the kill.
Yeah, tough for Likens to try to get back in position after that long pursuit. Unable to really get back level to square up to that swing from Stevens, and early timeout
10-7
again.
advantage, forcing the first timeout for Providence as the Friars break their huddle and come back out onto the court.
Well, Dartmouth has been locked in offensively here in the fourth set. 7 kills on 15 swings. They have not made an error, hitting over 450. That's actually Providence who's been locked in, but Dartmouth just the same, 7 kills, no errors. So both teams letting it fly here in the fourth set.
McDonald will look across. Adkins gets through the block, but backing up the play was Goots. Stevens now will pick up the kill. Piper Stevens had a kill that forced the timeout, and now she has the kill out of the timeout. Big point there for Dartmouth.
Going to be defense for either team. Whichever team can make more plays out of the back row, whichever team can find the blocking rhythm, that's going to be the difference maker, it feels like, here in the fourth, because right now the offenses are clicking.
And it just kind of feels like we've seen the advantage be to the team that can make the opponent the most uncomfortable so far. Murphy has made her opponents uncomfortable with these serves all game so far. This time, good effort to keep it alive by Fry. Set up for the soft touch. Murphy backing up the play. Engstrom will set. Mullins will have to play it over. She was helping up Murphy after the play. And then the setter dump is good for Miller McDonald.
Yeah, that's tough there. The ball sort of, I think, not knowing the predicament that Mullins was in, ends up, of course, coming back to her because Murphy had to slide in and ends up undercutting her teammate. It's also the kind of situation you worry about, an injury could very easily happen, that kind of collision. So fortunately, both players able to get up without cause for concern.
Providence able to take advantage, picking up the point. Great set, tapped over softly, but backing up the play was McDonald. Follow-up attack by Dupree had too much on it, and it did not touch the block of the big green. 12-8.
Again, Dupree a little bit of a force that time, trying to go over and in on the back line. Even though that set is in from the antenna, looked like she had room for that cut shot that we've seen Roberts so effective with from that same spot.
Absolutely. And it kind of feels Providence right now is trying to avoid the block rather than sometimes trying to play off of it might be the better move. As this one's going to be set up, Dupree, that goes straight over her head as she's able to play it through, but Fitzgerald is there. Set up too far for Goots, and Providence picks up the point.
A little bobble that time from Mullins, I think.
I mean, really a big difference maker in this game was when they put Mullins on the court with Murphy, having them play side by side. 16 assists for Mullins, 20 for Murphy. McDonald to set for the attack down the middle. Engstrom is there. Murphy, Kawani Goots picks up the kill. Elevating over the block.
Yeah, just going through Dupuis that time. Again, Goots able to high point that ball. You can see Margaret Johnson talking to Dupuis about gotta get through, gotta get those arms closed, gotta be a little bit stronger on the block.
Likens, set by Roden. Attack by Dupree is short. So Dartmouth takes another point here, 14-9.
Again, out of system, broken play. It just feels like too many times Providence has been in that situation and not found a way to just make a play, extend the rally.
Set up. Roden will give it a go and skies it. Oh, that's going to go off the block they rule. So a point for Providence.
Now she was absolutely 1,000% certain that she got a fingertip on that swing. And you could see it was even in how she approached that swing. Yeah. She was coming under that ball all the way.
And it's a big point for Providence there as well. And we've seen both these two teams. They battled today. Dartmouth still has 2 timeouts to work with. Providence has 1. So this would be huge here for the Friars if without a timeout, they can pull themselves back even. Going to be a good opportunity for Mullins. That hit the net, goes up, allows Likens to easily play that. Now Roden will give it a go. Terrific job by Fitzgerald. Set up, Kawani Goots, the soft touch, kept alive by Providence. Diving effort from Dupree. Goots will try again, and this time Dupree can't quite get under it.
And I think that was going out, and I think she ended up knowing it, but she was already committed.
Terrific highlight play to keep it alive the first time, and it's always tough to read that because you don't want to not go for it and let it go out, or let it rather hit the line if that indeed is where it was destined.
Absolutely.
20th kill for Kawani Goots. Her career high coming into the season was 16 in her sophomore season. She's already shattered that mark a number of times this year. Off the top of the net, Roberts, Mullins, Kawani Goots again, but too far that time. Did not hit the block is the ruling. So Providence will pick up the point, and for another time, we see one team with the head in the hands, hoping that call would have gone their way.
Yeah, that time I would tend to disagree with the Dartmouth bench. It looked like that one just sort of sailed on Goots. But again, goes back to non-conference matchup, no challenge system for the weekend. So coaches will have to wait until later on in the season to try to have that available to them.
Fitzgerald to receive. Tapped over for the attack by Power. Kept alive for Providence. Follow up by Adkins. What an effort by Likens to keep it alive. Engstrom equal to the task of the Barrow showing off right now. As that attack either found the net or was blocked by Grant. Either way, same result for Providence. They pick up a big point.
Yeah, I think Roberts just took a little bit too much off of it there.
So Providence 3 points away, but the issue for them has been, can they find the run they need right now to get back into it? We saw them do that in set number 3. Going to have to do the same here in the do or die set number 4. Was that touched? It is the ruling. Grant might have gotten a hand on it, and it sailed out of play, so Dartmouth will pick up the point.
Yeah, she was up there again, just not able to control it. Margaret Royer Johnson inquiring. Wasn't really a clear ruling, it felt like, on the floor, so just trying to see whether or not that came off of Grant.
It certainly hit the net in part, but the question is, did it also catch Grant as well? Kawani Goots will serve regardless for Dartmouth here. 16-12, the advantage for the Big Green. 2 timeouts for Dartmouth, 1 for Providence if they choose to use it. Catches the net, and it goes over and out.
It's a really good read there by Engstrom. That's not an easy ball to diagnose because it's low as it comes dipping back over the net. A good reaction to let that ball go.
And we will have Providence use their final timeout. So Emma Engstrom, the experience at play that time, the senior who was a second-team All-Ivy member as a freshman. Her 4.16 digs per set this season is first in the Ivy League. Her career dig numbers are number 6 all-time. She's actually 16 shy of moving up to number 5 all-time. So Engstrom not quite at that mark today. She's at number. She's still a bit shy, but perhaps in their next game she'll surpass that mark.
Absolutely going to get there this weekend. She has steadily become one of the top liberos in the Ivy League. Just, one of those players you love. Loves the job. It's not a job that, a lot of people envy doing. You have to fly all over the place. You have to, be really anticipatory in your movements. You have to, be right up at the net to take block deflections or tips or something like that. And then you have to be all the way over the back line in pursuit of balls. So you cover so much ground. I know in other sports talk about like soccer and players will have those sort of mileage trackers on them to see how many steps they take during a game. I'd love to put one of those on Emma Engstrom just to see how much she covers in a game because she is all over the court and beyond the lines, making plays all the time for the Big Green.
And it is the Big Green who have an advantage here. 17-12, Providence. No more timeouts to go. Going to have to try and finish this one out. Goots will have the serve once again. She's had provided some difficulties, I should say, for Providence as they look to set up. No problem this time, though. McDonald for Adkins, and that one might have caught the block, certainly caught on Dartmouth's side of the court. So Providence picks up the point.
Yeah, nice big swing there by Adkins. I like what we've seen out of her coming in. Again, sort of called on spot duty, just looking for a little bit of a boost on the outside, and she's just playing and letting it fly.
Set up by Mullins, attacked by Roberts, and the point for the Big Green.
And now if you're Dartmouth, you're at a stage, you're certainly very comfortable with this 5-point lead. You just want to continue to be tough, but not over-aggressive with the serve. You want to just keep trying to put Providence out of system, make them beat you, and make them make a run.
Providence will have an opportunity, but blocked back onto their side of the court. Now they'll try the other way, and once again, that's been the failsafe. Lyric Berry, moving towards the antenna, picks up the kill.
Another great slide set. Again, just able to find that little bit of a crease between the block.
And Berry, a player you knew was going to be good for Providence, was a Big East All-Freshman member last season. Had a lot of numbers this year, but perhaps today might be her best offensive, well, one of her better offensive outputs of the season. Only 8 attacks, resulting in 6 kills. Efficiency.
Been excellent. Yeah, her and Grant, very tough duo.
Here's the setup. Roberts will try again, and Roberts will pick it up. It feels like whenever Dartmouth needs a timely kill, Ava Roberts is there to deliver.
Yeah, there's been a nice little partnership, again, and it comes as a result of the switch, putting Mullins into the front row and allowing her to play all the way around. So instead of having Roberts paired with Murphy, now they've got Roberts paired with Mullins when Mullins is setting.
Gonna have a whistle here.
Dartmouth blocking the net.
Yep, against Dartmouth. So Providence picks up the point here, 19-15.
And again, it's not sort of stomach in throat time yet if you're Dartmouth. But, you know, if you see a Providence point or two here on the serve, then maybe you'll see a timeout from the Big Green.
Still have both to work with, so no downside to calling a quick one if you feel momentum has shifted. Murphy the set, all the way back to Stevens, who's blocked. What an effort there.
It's an outstanding block by Roden. I mean, it's, you know, one-on-one.
Yep.
You know, more often one-on-one, you're expecting your offensive player to win, but Roden doing a really good job following that set, getting on top of the ball, and just, in a lot of senses, almost beat Stevens to the spot there and just did not give her anything to swing at.
And Roden, one of a few players on the team from the state of Texas.
I think got a couple former teammates. Roden, Taylor, Grant, all from the same high school.
It's always tough because you think you might have put the same town twice, but nope, they just same hometown. And it's been successful for Providence this season. That attack had too much on it. Providence picks up the point, and now's the time where Dartmouth might consider a timeout. Haven't called it yet. 19-17.
Well, they're going to shift the serve receive first.
Going to try and make the adjustment here on the fly. Serve here for the Friars off the hand of Taylor. That goes high up in the air as Murphy sets for the attack by Kuwani Goots. And the answer.
I was about to say, now is about the time you think about setting Goots back row. And credit Stevens, that was not an easy serve. It's another one of those hard dipping floaters. And she made an aggressive call early on and got enough backspin, enough air under that ball to allow Murphy to make a good high set to Goots, who had a terrific approach.
And now Stevens replaced by Fitzgerald for the serve. Some more defense on the back line now for Dartmouth. Really tough. That's a tough read to make in this situation. They let it go. It works out. And big point here for Providence.
Yeah, again, your instinct, obviously, first and foremost, to play the ball. And so, especially on a close serve like that, let it go. But miss keeps the opportunity open for Providence here.
Big read there for Shalia Roden, another experienced senior in today's game. Set up by Murphy. Kuwani Goots off the top of the block, but kept alive by Taylor. Set up, back, Dupree, blocked. Kept alive, though, for Providence. Roden will have to send it over. Murphy, Kuwani Goots looking for another kill today. That's high up in the air, kept alive for Providence. Roden will look to play it over. And this is what the Friars need to do. They stay alive. Kuwani Goots, though, can't stop her 3 times in a row, as she, on her 3rd attempt of that sequence, picks up the kill.
First time they recovered. Second time, I actually thought she waffled the swing a little bit. I thought it was going to go out, but Likens got a piece of it. Great pursuit to keep the rally going, but so tough to stop Kuwani Goots 3 times in a row.
McDonald, Roden, Stevens the dig. It actually goes over. Now quick set, and that's going to be Sky. That set seemed a little bit low for Kayla Grant. who
So
kind of
few errors on the year,
Yeah.
but again, wrong time. She had the right idea, wanted to anticipate the defense coming in and lob it over the top, but just got too much on it.
3 points away for Dartmouth to winning this one. Would be their first home win of the season and their first home game. Murphy sets, attack by Mullins. And Mullins picks up the kill, and you'll love to see the setter-setter connection.
Well, how about the line Mullins is going to have after this? She's going to be right in the neighborhood of 20 assists, 7 kills now after that, 7 digs. You know, almost sad we may potentially not see a 5th set. She'd be on triple-double watch.
As that one's finished, and like you said, 5th set going to be tough to come by here as Molly Power puts her team on match point. Crowd getting into it now. Magic number for Providence has to be 6 straight points. Tough to do, especially when you have Emma Engstrom on the other side. Serve for Engstrom. Clean receive, set up by McDonald. Grant, it's wide, and that'll do it. Kayla Grant tried to hit that bread and butter play that we've seen work so many times for Providence today, but that time just a little bit outside.
Yeah, and tough for Grant, again, who was so excellent for pretty much the entirety of the match, and then just 2 mishits at the wrong time for Providence. But ultimately, the Friars are going to go back. They're going to watch this one, and they're going to see they got to be a little bit better on that first contact. So much out of system. You got to